Hello, everyone. We continue to describe spiritual gifts. So if you missed the first gift, I've put the link in the description below. Okay, so we'll begin with a recap as well. What's a spiritual gift? We say that a spiritual gift is an extraordinary ability given by God to individual Christians for the purpose of edifying the body of Christ. Then we also saw that there are several spiritual gifts. We saw some in 1 Corinthians 12, others in Ephesians, and others in Romans. Okay, so we are still on those in 1 Corinthians 12. Let's see them. So these are called the manifestation gifts or the supernatural gifts or the gifts of the Holy Spirit. So these are in 1 Corinthians 12, 7 to 11. So we've already seen the gifts of the word of wisdom, gift of the word of knowledge, gifts of faith, gifts of healing, effecting of miracles, gift of prophecy. And today we are going to look at the gift of discerning of spirits or distinguishing between spirits. So there's also the gift of speaking in different kinds of tongues and the gift of interpretation of the tongues. Okay, so we also saw in 1 Corinthians 12:1 that each believer has at least one of these gifts. Each believer has at least one of these gifts. Okay, so we go to this gift of discerning of spirits, but we will start with a reminder. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. So this is Ephesians 6:12. So it's clear that we are not fighting against flesh and blood. So if we look at our war as a physical war, we will continue treating symptoms instead of identifying the real cause. So every problem, most problems, there is something spiritual behind this problem. But for us, like we focus on what we see. So it's high time we went back to the root and we are equipped for that spiritual war. Okay, and one of our equipment is this gift of discerning of spirits. So the gift of discerning of spirits. The gift of discerning of spirits is the supernatural ability to recognize the source of the spirit behind a prophecy, an action, a message, or an event. So in other words, you distinguish whether the source is divine, demonic, or human. So a person with this gift sees behind people's words and actions. So you can, in other words, they say that you see through someone, like what is motivating this person to do this and that. And we need this now. We need this in this crazy world now. Okay, so in other words, can even be a good action, but what is the motive? So you can see through what is leading this person to do this, whether the source is divine, demonic, or human. Okay. So still a person with this gift easily discerns good from evil. So this is expected of all Christians. We should have at least some discernment because we have to discern from good from evil. Okay. So another thing is a person with this gift can tell if someone is possessed by an unclean spirit. So for us, like I said, we are looking at everything physically, but a person with such a gift is looking at everything like in the spiritual sense. Like you can tell that this person is doing this because there is something pushing this person to do this. Okay, and at times, someone with this gift can tell which spirit is at work. Okay. So there are various types of evil spirits. So I've listed those I found in the scriptures, just some of them actually. So we see the deaf and dumb spirit that is talked about in Mark 9:25, where is a child who could get, it was a boy, so he could get convulsions and he could throw himself in fire and in water. Okay, so another spirit is, an evil spirit is the spirit of infirmity. So this is seen in Luke 13:11. So in this verse, there was a lady who was crippled for 18 years and she had this spirit of infirmity and Christ cast it out. Okay, so this spirit of infirmity it brings about weaknesses. So it's a spirit responsible for the diseases and other illnesses. Okay. So there's also a spirit of divination. So this is seen in Acts 16:16. So this particular spirit, like it could help this in this sense, it could help this lady, it was a girl. So it helped this girl to foretell the future. We'll see this story later on. Okay, so we see in 1 John 4, verse 1, beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. So we are supposed to test the spirits. So a person with a gift of discerning of spirits can easily test whether this person is a false prophet or is not, or maybe someone has just missed a point at some point. Okay. So we also see in 2 Corinthians 11, 14 to 15. And no wonder, for Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also transform themselves into ministers of righteousness, whose end will be according to their works. So this is very clear. So you'll see ministers, you'll see people preaching and preaching, but they are agents. They are agents of Satan, because himself can transform as an angel of light. Okay, so we need discernment. More generally, every believer needs at least some amount of discernment. But a person with this gift should really come up and use his or her gift. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Our first example is in Matthew 16, 15 to 17, and also 22 and 23. So he said to them, but who do you say that I am? So this is Christ was asking the disciples. Simon Peter answered and said, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus answered and said to him, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. So we see here that Christ can tell that this utterance is not from Simon, but it's divine. The spirit behind his word or what he has just said is divine. Let's see later on. So I've skipped some verses. Then Christ told them that he will be crucified and he will be tortured and so on. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, far be it from you, Lord, this shall not happen to you. But he turned and said to Peter, this is Christ, get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men. So we see here that in this case, it's the same Peter. God, before Christ could tell that what Peter said was divine. The spirit behind what Peter said was divine. In this case, we see him identifying that the spirit behind what Peter is saying is demonic, or it's from Satan. Yet he had actually what he had said was not bad. Okay, another example. It's in Acts 16 to 21. Once when we were going to the place of prayer, so this is Luke saying, we are in Acts, we were met by a female slave who had a spirit by which she predicted the future. She earned a great deal of money for her owners by fortune telling. She followed Paul and the rest of us, shouting, these men are servants of the Most High God, who are telling you the way to be saved. She kept this up for many days. Finally, Paul became so annoyed that he turned around and said to the spirit, in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to come out of her. At that moment, the spirit left her. What do we see here? This girl, whatever she's saying is right. These are servants of the Most High God who are telling you the way to be saved. So a person without discernment could just take it positively that this person is encouraging us. But because Paul had discernment, he could tell that this girl is just bringing about confusion, or because she kept saying this for many days. So this spirit was kind of confusing them. It was kind of bringing about confusion. And Paul discerned that this is not a right spirit. Okay. So how do we use the gift of discerning of spirits in case you have this gift? Correct others in case of a false teaching. Like you can easily tell good from evil, or you can sail through a false prophet. More generally, warn others of false prophets. But maybe one thing you have to know, just like all the other gifts, like you're not the authority, you can get it wrong at times. So you have really to first think or get more evidence. Testing prophecies. So we already looked at the gift of prophecy, and we saw that the gift can be, a prophecy can come from God, or the enemy can masquerade and give you a prophecy. So a person with this gift can discern or can test prophecies. You can tell whether the prophecy is from God or it's from the devil. Okay, so if you have this gift, warn the church of Satanists in a church gathering. So you know Satanists come into churches to bring about confusion. So these Satanists can even be among the leaders, but because no one has discernment, or even the chief leader, it can even be the chief leader himself. So because no one has discernment, these people will keep in church and will bring about confusion, keeping the church stagnant. Okay, if you have this gift, counsel others or free those in bondage. So you can tell the spirit behind a problem in particular. So like you can have a problem and you're focusing, say it's an addiction, and you're praying for maybe deliverance, but there is a spirit, there is a root cause of that addiction. So a person with this gift can use this gift in counseling to address the real problem. More generally, with this gift, you can be an intercessor, because like we said, you can pray for someone for healing, yet the spirit behind this sickness is not actually a spirit of infirmity. It could be a spirit of poverty that maybe came in and made this person sick, so that this person spends and spends and spends. So if you have this gift of discernment of spirit or discerning of spirit, you can use it as an intercessor to help others, because you're praying for the real cause, not just the symptoms. Okay, so we'll look at other gifts. Yeah, may God bless you. May God bless you. So a reminder is, it's a spiritual warfare. We should look at our war as it is. It's a spiritual warfare. So if you continue looking at the symptoms which are manifested in the physical now, we will always waste our time. All right. May God bless you. Bye-bye.